Hi guys, and welcome to part 45 of Skyrim Mod Sanctuary. The first mod I am going to look at is one that grabbed my interest when I saw it on the hot files on Nexus, and it's called the Dwarven Dwemer Powered Armour. Now, fairly obviously, this armour is based upon the standard Dwarven armour, which is heavy, but it's got a few extra little details. The shoulders and the boots are much larger, very reminiscent of the sort of Space Marine power armor or Brotherhood of Steel power armor you get in Fallout games, etc. So pretty much standard fare for power armor in these sort of games. And the details are really nice. They sort of fit really well. They've used pieces that are in the game already, so everything sort of fits. But there are also these sort of glowing blue, almost like soul gems, and they're on the wrists, the knees, the chest, the back, and the eyes. And they give the armour not a sinister look exactly, but a very dangerous look. Slightly high tech, but without looking sci-fi. They definitely make this armour stand out. I mean, really, I think this armour should come with an automatic -100 to sneak skill, because you are, not only are you this huge, heavy, almost robot-like figure, you are glowing with these great big neon blue light things. Now, this armour is pretty tough stuff, actually. It definitely rivals things like the Daedric armour, and it comes pre-enchanted, and the enchantments are, well, they're very, very good indeed. This is the last set of armour you're going to wear, I think, once you put this on. I mean, if you wear all four pieces, you're going to be absorbing any magic that gets thrown at you. You get a total of 60% absorption on spells, which is enormous. So this is very, very powerful armour indeed. The armour is gained via crafting. You need the Dwarven Smith perk, and you need the Arcane Blacksmith perk, and you also need the Ancient Knowledge ability quest. So it's not really easy to get this. You have quite a few things to get, and you do need to use a few perks in your smithing, so you're not going to just be finding this very early on in the game. If you really focus on your perks and you focus on getting this quest, you could get this armor pretty early, and I would warn against doing that because it is exceptionally powerful. But this is great armour, really. I mean, it looks superb. It looks very in place at the same time as being very impressive. The stats are incredible, so, you know, once you get this, you're never going to want to give it up. And if you're playing a very heavy character that doesn't care about looking sneaky or anything like that, this is something you should definitely check out. Now, this particular armour actually reminded me of something I covered in a previous video, and that was the Dwarven Exoskeleton mod. And I was curious as to how well those two mods mixed, and it turns out they mix very well indeed. The exoskeleton really suits this armour a lot. With both of these mods using the standard in-game items that very much suit the Dwemer concept, they really do mix very, very well. They mix almost seamlessly. There's a couple of places where it clips, but you barely notice them. And in many ways, they actually look like one set of armor. So it looks like a sort of super power armor set. And whilst I was trying these two mods together, I actually discovered that the Exoskeleton mod has been updated several times and has quite a few new features and items that I just didn't cover in that first video. I mean, there's actually a completely new version of the Exoskeleton. It looks very similar, however there's this sort of wing type thing on the back. I'm not totally sure what it does, but it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's up to you whether you like that, but seeing as with this exoskeleton on, you can actually jump really, really high, and when you come down, you don't seem to come down at a speed that would be reasonable for someone wearing what looks like 2 tons of metal. You seem to have some sort of hang time. You could almost argue that perhaps these wings were there to, you know, help you glide down. They're a little small, but let's just say there's some magic involved. Now, you should be warned that using the exoskeleton with the armor will make you extremely tough. It could well overpower the game, even on master difficulty with lots of mods to make things harder. These two items together, especially if you have the more powerful version of the exoskeleton that lets you run around 10 times faster and, you know, just basically probably punch dragons to death without ever getting hit once because you can move so fast. So, you know, you should take that into account before you use and abuse these items, but they're a lot of fun. Now, the mod author has also added mountable weapons, and these are weapons that can only be used if you are wearing the exoskeleton. So if you remove the exoskeleton, the weapons will unequip automatically. And these weapons include crossbows. These are one-handed versions of the crossbows, and one for the left, one for the right. There are blades, which are they look like short swords that come out of your fists. They don't actually come out of your fists, they're part of the exoskeleton, but they remind me a little bit of this I've covered one of the mods which was a retracting blade. They look reminiscent of that, only permanently out. There are axes, which behave much the same, and even hammers. But one of my favourite weapons that have been added is the mountable flamethrower, and these are very cool. They leave a like napalm-like fire trail, so if you set fire to something, it stays on fire for quite some time. It's pretty vicious looking, actually, and you can actually use a flamethrower in one hand and another weapon in the other. Perfectly reasonable, and as I said, it looks very, very dangerous indeed. And there is even a staff that will summon Dwemer Centurions for you to fight by your side, a kind of conjuration device, which is very cool. Now, as I mentioned, these items may be considered a little overpowered. However, if you want to have some fun wandering around Skyrim as a sort of semi-indestructible machine of death, these two mods combined will give you exactly that. Now, installation of these mods is pretty easy, fairly standard. Go along to the file section of the Dwarven Powered Armor mod on Nexus and download with Manager. You only need one of the main files. There is an old style one and there is a new style one. The new style one has these swirly animations on the gems, and I love that, so that's the one I picked. And for the Dwemer exoskeleton, if you go along to the file section, again there are two versions. One is for Dawnguard and the other is not. Obviously, if you've got Dawnguard, download with the manager on that one. If not, download with the manager on the other. And once they've downloaded in Nexus Mod Manager, simply activate. Very, very simple stuff. And as usual, I'm going to finish with some screenshots that you guys have made. If you want to post screenshots for me to put in these videos, you can follow the link I'll put down below to my Skyrim Mod Sanctuary Nexus page and post the images there. You're more than welcome to do that, and I will try and post as many as I can each episode. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful. If it was, please click the like button. I always appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you guys on my next video, whatever that is. And until then, as always, have fun.